Giacomo Galli didn't believe in ghosts, but standing in his Chicago penthouse at 2 a.m. with blood on his cufflinks, he wondered if the trembling woman before him might be one. Luna Smith pressed her finger to her lips with desperate urgency. "Don't let her hear you," Luna whispered. In Giacomo's world, people didn't tell him what to do. He gave orders that ended lives and kept peace between Chicago's most dangerous families. Yet something in the maid's dark eyes, terror mixed with determination, made him freeze. "What the hell is going on in my house?" His voice came out deadly low. Luna grabbed his arm with surprising strength, pulling him toward shadows near the grand piano. "If you go in there now, it'll only get worse for them. Them, his children." 7-year-old Matteo and 5-year-old Aria were supposed to be asleep. He'd spent the evening handling business at the docks, the kind that left men bleeding. He'd come home early for once, carrying guilt heavier than the Beretta at his ribs. From deeper in the penthouse, he heard it. A child's voice, trembling, not asleep, not safe. Luna's hand clamped over his mouth. "She'll hear you. Trust me for 60 seconds. No one called him Giacomo. Not his soldiers, not his business partners, not even Valentina, his fiancée who preferred darling. But Luna said it like a prayer. They moved through shadows he knew intimately. As they approached the playroom, Luna positioned him behind a column. Then she pointed. Through the doorway, Giacomo saw his daughter kneeling on the Persian rug, small shoulders shaking. Matteo stood rigid beside her, hands clasped like a prisoner, and towering over them, pacing in designer heels, was Valentina Russo, his fiancée, the daughter of Salvatore Russo. Their engagement was a treaty between warring families. "You think crying will change anything, Aria?" Valentina's voice sliced through the air. "Your father isn't here. He's never here. And when he is, he's too weak to do what's necessary." Giacomo's vision blurred red. "Weak children become dead weight," Valentina continued. "In my family, we eliminate dead weight. Be grateful I'm only teaching you discipline." She crouched to Aria's eye level. "Tell me what you are." Aria's tiny voice whispered, "Worthless." The word detonated in Giacomo's chest. Luna's fingers wrapped around his wrist, stopping him. She pulled out her phone, showing him paused video. The footage showed Valentina earlier that evening, grabbing Matteo by his hair, forcing him to his knees. Aria crying as Valentina's hand flashed out. Then the words, "Your mother was weak too. That's why she's dead." Isabella, his wife, dead 2 years in a car accident everyone called tragic. Luna stopped the video. 12 more recordings like this. She only does it when you're gone. I've documented everything for 6 weeks. 6 weeks? Giacomo's voice was pure violence. 3 months, Luna corrected, meeting his eyes. Since I started working here. 3 months Valentina has had free rein while you built your empire. In the playroom, Valentina straightened. "Matteo, recite the alphabet backward. 1 mistake, neither of you eat breakfast." Giacomo moved forward, but Luna blocked him. "If you go in now, she'll twist it. Make you the villain. Threaten to leave and take her family's alliance. You know the game." He did. Valentina was a Russo. Their engagement wasn't love. It was political survival. Then what do I do? The question came out broken. You watch. You see everything. Then you plan. Luna glanced toward the playroom. Right now, Valentina thinks she's won. Let her keep thinking it. Before he could respond, Valentina's phone rang. She stepped away, voice dropping. Giacomo's trained ears caught fragments. "Tomorrow night. Papers are ready. He suspects nothing. Children won't be a problem much longer." Valentina ended the call and turned to the children with a practiced smile. "Bedtime. And remember, if you tell your father, I'll make sure you never see him again. There are schools very far away. Understood?" Both children nodded robotically. As they passed the column where Giacomo hid, Matteo's eyes flickered toward the shadows. For one heartbreaking second, father and son's gazes met. Matteo's eyes were wells of exhausted hope. He didn't cry out, just held his sister's hand tighter and kept walking, as if survival meant silence. That look shattered something in Giacomo no violence had ever touched. Luna exhaled. She checks on them again around 3 a.m. We have an hour. For what? To get them somewhere safe. To understand what she meant by the papers. Luna finally stepped back. I need you to think clearly, Mr. Galley. Can you do that? Who are you, really? He asked suddenly. No maid moves like you. No housekeeper hides cameras my security missed. Luna's smile was sad and dangerous. Someone who made a promise to a dead woman. Someone who's been waiting for you to come home early for 3 months. My wife? Not exactly. But your children aren't the only ones Valentina Russo destroyed. She just made the mistake of destroying someone I loved. Before Giacomo could demand answers, a sound froze them both. Footsteps, fast, from the children's rooms. Then Aria's scream split the night. Giacomo ran. Giacomo reached the children's wing in seconds. The scream had stopped, replaced by Aria's muffled sobs, the kind that came from a child who'd learned silence meant survival. Inside Aria's room, Matteo held his sister, one small hand covering her mouth. When he saw his father, the boy's face crumpled with relief and terror. Bad dream, Matteo whispered. She just had a bad dream, Papa. 7 years old and already weaponizing lies as shields. Matteo. Giacomo's voice came out softer than it had in years. I know, I saw. I know what she's been doing. Aria pulled away, her tear-stained face disbelieving. You know about Miss Valentina? Giacomo knelt before them. This close, he saw the exhaustion carved into their young faces. How had he been so blind? I came home early. I saw her. I heard her. And I swear, on your mother's memory, she will never hurt you again. Matteo searched his father's face. You promise? She said if we told, she'd send us away where you'd never find us. The words hit like bullets. You are not broken. You are mine, and no one takes what's mine. Luna appeared. Mr. Galley, we need to move. Valentina's bedroom light just turned on. They moved through shadows to the service corridors. Luna opened a forgotten door, revealing a surveillance center. Monitors, laptop, files, a Glock hidden beneath linens. Insurance, Luna said. Everything Valentina's done, documented. She pulled up a file. A photograph appeared, a young woman with Luna's eyes but softer features. Maria Smith, my sister. She worked for you 3 years ago, bookkeeper in your downtown office. Giacomo remembered. Maria, killed in a mugging. He'd sent flowers. It wasn't a mugging, Luna continued. The Russos killed her to send you a message, tortured her first, wanting information about your operations. She died protecting you and your children. The room felt smaller. You came here for revenge. I came for truth. Luna met his eyes. I thought you were the monster who got my sister killed. But then I watched you miss bedtime every night looking destroyed. Saw Isabella's photos everywhere. Watched your children wait by the window hoping you'd come home early. Her voice cracked. And I watched Valentina systematically destroy them while planning something worse. She pulled up more files, documents, insurance policies, wills. 6 weeks ago, Valentina researched poisons. 4 weeks ago, met with an estate lawyer. 2 weeks ago, dinner with Russo enforcers. Luna clicked through evidence. Yesterday, she received this. A box. Inside, vials of clear liquid, syringes. Digitalis, Luna said flatly. In small doses causes symptoms that look like stress. By the time anyone suspects poisoning, it's untraceable. She's planning to kill me. She's planning to kill all of you. Children first. Tragic accident. Then you, slowly. She plays grieving widow. Inherits everything. The Russo family absorbs your territories. The marriage was never peace. It was conquest. Matteo spoke up. Mama Luna found the papers about sending us to Switzerland. Giacomo looked at his son. Mama Luna? The boy flushed. When Miss Valentina locks us in our rooms without dinner, Luna brings food. When we have nightmares, she stays. She sings Mama Isabella's songs. His voice dropped. She's the only one who protects us. Something shifted in Giacomo's chest, dangerous warmth toward this woman who'd infiltrated for revenge but stayed for his children. How do you know Isabella's songs? Maria told me. She and Isabella were friends. After Isabella died, Maria cried for weeks, said Isabella was terrified something would happen. She'd been asking questions about the Russo family, about your dealings with them. Giacomo's mind raced back. Isabella had been different those final weeks, nervous, distracted. Then came the rainstorm, the bridge, the car plunging into water. You think Valentina killed my wife? I think Isabella discovered something that got her murdered. The timeline's too convenient. Isabella dies. 6 months later, Valentina appears at a charity gala. Everyone called it fate. Calculation, Giacomo whispered. A sound echoed. Footsteps, deliberate, searching. She's looking for you, Luna said. Your security alerted when you entered. Giacomo pulled out his phone, texting Marco Santini, his most trusted lieutenant. Response came immediately. Luna's face darkened. Marco had dinner with Valentina last Tuesday. I have photos. They were together 90 minutes. The betrayal hit differently. Marco was family, the brother he'd never had. You said you have a safe house? Giacomo asked quietly. I do. Then go. Take my children. Protect them. He crouched before Matteo and Arya. You're going on a trip with Luna. I need you to be brave. Arya's lip trembled. You're not coming? Not yet, but I promise. I will find you. We'll be a family again. A real one. From the hallway, Valentina's voice called out, false and sweet. Giacomo? Darling, are you home? Luna moved with efficiency, grabbing a packed bag. Service elevator. Now. They slipped into the corridor. As they reached the elevator, Arya stumbled with a small cry. The sound carried. Valentina's heels stopped. Then started again, faster, heading directly toward them. Luna made a split-second decision. She shoved the children into the elevator. As the doors began closing, she stepped back out. Get them safe, she mouthed. I'll buy you time. The elevator sealed shut with his children inside, and Valentina rounded the corner, beautiful face masking cold calculation. There you are, she purred. Having a late-night meeting with the help? How unexpected. Luna straightened, meeting Valentina's scrutiny with practiced deference. Mr. Galli wanted coffee, Miss Russo. Valentina's smile remained fixed, but her glacier eyes narrowed. At 2:30? How dedicated. Though I wonder, Giacomo, why you didn't come to bed. I was waiting. Giacomo forced casual authority. Business ran late. Didn't want to wake you. How considerate. Valentina glided closer, touching the blood on his cufflink. Difficult negotiations, darling? The usual complications. He caught her wrist. Affection or warning? Nothing that concerns you. But everything concerns me. We're to be married. Partners in all things. Unless there are secrets? The word hung like a blade. Luna moved toward the kitchen. I'll prepare that coffee, sir. Actually, Valentina said sharply, I'd prefer tea. Luna, brew that chamomile blend, the one from the blue tin. Luna paused imperceptibly. Giacomo caught it. The blue tin, Valentina repeated deliberately. I've been saving it for a special occasion. Understanding crashed through Giacomo. The digitalis. Valentina was testing if Luna knew which container was compromised. Of course, Miss Russo. Luna confirmed smoothly. Perfect. I'll take it in the study with Giacomo. We have wedding details to discuss. Valentina linked her arm through his. Come, darling. In the study, her demeanor transformed. Warmth evaporated into something reptilian. You're a terrible liar when tired, she said. You came home early. You never do. Why? Instinct. The great Giacomo Galli running on instinct? You're getting sloppy. You hire housekeepers without vetting. Leave your children with strangers. You've gone soft. He sat across from her. The children seem to like her. The children are irrelevant. The casual cruelty ignited murder in Giacomo's chest, but deadly weapons deployed silently. You don't like kids much, he observed. I don't like complications. Children drain resources and attention, but they serve their purpose. A ready-made family makes us look legitimate. And after the wedding? They go to the Swiss boarding school, out of sight, properly educated, not interfering. Her smile was pure calculation. Unless you've changed your mind. Giacomo had never agreed. I don't recall agreeing to Switzerland. You didn't disagree. Silence is consent. I've already paid the deposit. A knock. Luna entering with the tray, blue teapot, 2 cups. Your chamomile, Miss Russo. Perfect, you may go. Luna hesitated. Sir, your sister called from Boston. Urgent about the children's medical records. She's holding online too. Giacomo didn't have a sister. The message, children are safe, out of the building. I'll take it here. Luna, transfer the call. After Luna left, Valentina poured tea from the blue pot into both cups. Your family never approved of me, she said, pushing a cup toward him. But ambition builds empires. You understood that once. Giacomo looked at the tea. I'm not thirsty. Drink. You look exhausted. I said I'm not thirsty. It's just tea. Unless you think I'm trying to poison you. She laughed, but her eyes stayed flat. The phone rang. Giacomo answered, improvising a one-sided conversation while watching Valentina watch him, coiled tension wrapped in silk. When he hung up, she was sipping delicately. Family crisis averted. Just bureaucracy. Good. Then drink your tea and come to bed. Venue walk through tomorrow at noon. Giacomo picked up the cup, brought it to his lips, let steam touch his face, then hurled the contents into the fireplace. Liquid hissed against coals, sending up acrid smoke. What the hell are you doing? Valentina shrieked. You first. Tell me what you're doing. Her face cycled through emotions. Have you lost your mind? Was it digitalis from foxglove plants, purchased 8 days ago under a false name? Color drained from Valentina's face. Her hand moved, viper quick, toward her Hermes clutch. Giacomo was faster. He caught her wrist, twisted. The small pistol clattered to the floor. When did you start carrying? Valentina wrenched free. You've been investigating me. I've been blind, but not anymore. Blind to what? I know you've been torturing my children. Planning to send them away. Slowly poisoning me. He stepped closer. And I know you had something to do with Isabella's death. At his dead wife's name, the mask cracked completely. Isabella, she repeated, laughing, bitter and triumphant. Of course this comes back to Isabella. The dead wife becomes a saint, the living one a monster. Did you kill her? Does it matter? She's dead either way. Valentina straightened. Your precious Isabella was going to destroy everything. She found out about trafficking routes my family runs through your territories, was going to expose us, expose you, to the FBI. She had documents, recordings, enough to put both families away for decades. The words hit like blows. Isabella would never. Isabella was a naive fool who thought love conquered all. She believed she could make you walk away from the life. Become legitimate. Valentina's smile was cruel. She didn't understand men like you don't walk away. So we solved the problem. We, my father and I. The car accident was elegant, quick, tragic, untraceable. It opened the door for me to step in, comfort the widower, become the new Mrs. Galley, merge our families properly. You've been planning this for years. Since I was 23, you were always the prize, Giacomo. Isabella was just an obstacle. Valentina picked up her gun, pointing it at his chest. And your children, loose ends, witnesses who might remember. The Swiss school was kindness. I was going to let them live. Was? Past tense. You forced my hand. She thumbed back the hammer. This will look like tragedy. Giacomo Galli murdered by an intruder. I'll be devastated. Inherit everything. The children will have an unfortunate accident. Gas leak, perhaps. Car crash, like their mother. The door burst open. Marco Santini stood there, gun drawn, pointed at Giacomo, not Valentina. Sorry, boss, Marco said. Nothing personal, just better money. Valentina smiled. Thank you, Marco. Make it look authentic. A struggle, some blood. Giacomo stared at the man he'd called brother. How long? Since the beginning. Valentina approached me 6 months before Isabella died. Offered triple what you pay plus territory. And my children? They're already dead. Valentina had guys waiting in the garage. The maid too. The words were designed to break him. But cold certainty formed. Marco was lying. Luna was too smart. And if his children were dead, Valentina wouldn't still be explaining, which meant Matteo and Arya were still alive. That single thought was enough. Giacomo moved. Giacomo dropped below Marco's sight line as the shot shattered air, bullet embedding in mahogany. His hand found the letter opener. Silver, 8 inches, sharp enough to kill. Marco adjusted aim, but Giacomo was already inside his reach. The opener flashed upward, slicing through Marco's gun hand. Blood sprayed. The weapon clattered. Marco howled. Valentina fired her Ladysmith. The round caught Giacomo's shoulder, spinning him into the desk. Pain exploded white-hot, but he'd been shot before. Pain was information. He grabbed the crystal decanter and hurled it at Valentina's face. She dodged, but whiskey splashed her eyes. Her next shot went wide, punching through the window. Cold Chicago wind rushed in. Marco recovered, launching himself with desperate fury. They crashed into the bookshelf, grappling. Marco's good hand found Giacomo's throat, squeezing with trained precision. Should have stayed blind, Marco growled. Should have drunk the tea and died peaceful. Giacomo's vision spotted, but his hand found Marco's pressure point, nerves below the ear. He pressed hard. Marco's grip loosened. Giacomo drove his forehead into Marco's nose. Cartilage crunched. Blood gushed. Giacomo kicked his knee sideways. The joint buckled with a wet pop. As Marco collapsed, Valentina advanced, gun steady, eyes clear. Impressive, but you're bleeding, outgunned, betrayed. How does it feel to finally understand you're not untouchable? He pressed against the bullet wound, blood seeping between fingers. Where are my children? Scattered on a garage floor. The maid made it to her car, but she forgot about security cameras. My men were waiting. You're lying. Am I? Valentina pulled out her phone, showing footage. Luna's car, windshield spiderwebbed with bullets. Driver's door open, blood on concrete, but no bodies. Giacomo's mind raced through details Valentina counted on him missing. No bodies, just blood. And Luna, former investigator, trained, paranoid enough to wear Kevlar. Luna wouldn't die that easily. Still nothing to say? Valentina mocked. The study door exploded inward. Luna stood in the threshold, Kevlar vest visible beneath torn shirt, blood matting her hair but very much alive. In her hands, Marco's Glock and absolute murder. You talk too much, Luna said, and fired. The round caught Valentina's gun hand. The Ladysmith flew across the room. Valentina shrieked, pure animal rage. Luna advanced, weapon trained. On your knees, both of you. Marco complied immediately. Valentina stood frozen, face twisted with disbelief. You're supposed to be dead, Valentina hissed. Your men got sloppy. Thought they could corner a woman alone. They thought wrong. Giacomo found his voice. The children? Safe. In the car 3 blocks away with food and water. Matteo has your emergency number memorized. They won't move until they hear from you. Luna's eyes locked on Valentina. Now we're going to have a conversation about who murdered Maria Smith and Isabella Galli. Valentina laughed, edged with hysteria. You're the sister. Of course. I should have seen it. You have her eyes. Maria died crying for her little sister to save her. Luna's gun hand trembled. Tell me how she died. Slowly, screaming. We needed information about Giacomo's offshore accounts. Your sister was stubborn. She broke eventually. They always do. But by then we didn't need her anymore. And Isabella? Isabella loved Giacomo too much, made her reckless. She thought she could save him from himself. Valentina's gaze slid to Giacomo. I was in the car behind her that night. Watched the bridge, the rain, the water swallowing her whole. She fought the sinking car for 7 minutes. We timed it. 7 minutes of drowning, of knowing she'd failed. Giacomo's legs gave out. He sank against the desk, The image carved into his brain. Isabella, terrified and alone, drowning while Valentina watched. Why? The word came out broken. Because she was going to take everything from us. She had recordings of my father discussing trafficking routes, ledgers proving money laundering. She was going to give it all to the FBI for immunity. She thought she could dismantle both families and walk away clean. She was trying to save us. She was trying to destroy us. Valentina straightened despite the gun. And now you'll have to choose. Kill me. My family wages war. Your children won't survive the month. They won't survive if you're breathing, Luna interjected. But at least my way, they die quickly. Your way? War means years of looking over shoulders, bombs, poison, snipers at school pickup. Is that the life you want for Matteo and Arya? Running forever? Giacomo's mind spun through scenarios, each bloodier than the last. There's a third option, Luna said quietly. One neither of you considered. Valentina sneered. What, prison? My family owns half the judges in Illinois. Not prison, exile. Luna's voice carried weight. I didn't spend 3 months documenting your crimes for nothing. Every recording, every transaction, every encrypted email. I have copies, including proof you've been skimming from your father's operations. Valentina's face went white. You're lying. The offshore account in the Caymans, under your mother's maiden name. You've been moving money there 18 months, 3 million so far. Building your own nest egg. Luna tilted her head. How would Salvatore react to learning his favorite daughter is stealing from him? He'd never believe you. He'd believe bank statements, wire transfers, your signature on withdrawal forms. Luna's smile was sharp. I can make you disappear 2 ways, Valentina. Body bag or plane to somewhere without extradition. Your choice. Marco laughed bitterly. She'll never run. Too proud. Pride doesn't stop bullets, Luna said. And I'm tired of talking. She adjusted aim, center mass, execution angle. Wait, Giacomo said, pushing upright. If she runs, she'll regroup, come back with mercenaries. 23, 22, Luna counted. I'll haunt you forever, Valentina said, voice rising with panic. You think you can hide those children? I'll find them, make them suffer in ways you can't imagine. 16, 15. Luna, wait. Giacomo reached for her arm. The window behind them exploded inward, not from bullets, from a body. A man in tactical gear crashed through shattered glass, rolled, came up firing. Luna dove left. Giacomo threw himself right. Marco took 3 rounds to the chest and dropped without sound. More figures rappelled from the roof. 4, 5, 6 soldiers in black, masked, weapons military grade. Valentina's backup, activated by some silent alarm. Kill them both, Valentina screamed. But keep Galli alive to sign documents. Luna fired twice, dropping 1 soldier. But the others had position and numbers, spreading with professional efficiency, cutting off escape. Giacomo grabbed Marco's fallen Glock, slick with blood but functional. His shoulder screamed. He fired blind around the desk's edge, buying seconds. The safe room, Luna shouted over gunfire. Behind the bookshelf. Giacomo had forgotten the panic room, installed years ago, barely remembered the code. Luna was already at the bookshelf, fingers flying across a hidden keypad. The shelf swung inward, revealing reinforced steel. Go, she commanded. Giacomo stumbled toward her as bullets chewed through mahogany and leather. 1 round grazed his leg, another missed his head by inches. They fell through the threshold together. Luna slammed the door shut. The lock engaged, 6 inches of steel between them and death. For several heartbeats, they lay on the floor, breathing hard. The walls were soundproofed. Gunfire became distant, muffled. Your shoulder, Luna said, moving toward medical supplies. Your head, Giacomo countered, seeing blood matting her hair. Scalp wound. Looks worse than it is. She pulled out gauze, wrapping his shoulder with practiced efficiency. We have maybe 20 minutes before they breach this door. The children are still safe. The car's location is only in my head. Her hands worked quickly, but we need to talk about what happens next. Next is I kill everyone who touched my family. Next is we get strategic. Luna met his eyes and he saw depths there, grief, rage, and something like hope. I told you I came for revenge. I wasn't lying, but revenge is a poison. It consumed me for 2 years, made me into someone my sister wouldn't recognize. Maria would be proud of what you've done. Would she? Luna's voice cracked. I've become the thing she feared, cold, violent. Your children call me Mama Luna. Do you understand how terrifying that is? How much I don't deserve it? Giacomo caught her wrist, gentle but firm. You saved their lives. I put them in danger by coming here. If I'd just given evidence to the FBI anonymously, Valentina would still be torturing them. Marco would still be plotting, and I would still be blind. He squeezed her wrist. You woke me up, Luna, painfully, violently, but you woke me up. Outside the safe room, something heavy slammed against the door. Once, twice. Testing strength. Luna pulled a phone from her pocket, not the burner. She dialed, waited. It's time, she said to whoever answered. Send everything. Every file, every recording, every shred of evidence. Send it to the FBI, Chicago PD, and every major news outlet in the state. A pause. Yes, I'm sure. Burn it all down. She ended the call. In approximately 5 minutes, the entire Russo operation will be exposed. Bank accounts, trafficking routes, murder contracts, everything. Valentina's father will be destroyed. His allies will scatter. The empire collapses. And Valentina becomes a fugitive with nowhere to hide. Her family won't protect her. She's the leak that killed them. She'll spend the rest of her life running from criminals and cops alike. Luna's smile was grim. It's not death. But sometimes living with consequences is worse. Another slam, closer to breaching. Giacomo pulled out his phone. Then we need to survive the next 5 minutes. He dialed a number he'd sworn never to use except in absolute emergency. It rang twice. Elijah Cross. Been a while, Gally. I'm calling in the debt. All of it. A pause. Location? My penthouse. Safe room. Approximately 6 hostiles. Maybe more. Russo family soldiers. Interesting. And you're willing to burn that bridge? The treaty with the Russos? The treaty died 2 years ago when they murdered my wife. I'm just finally acknowledging it. Elijah laughed, low and dangerous. I'll be there in 8 minutes. Try not to die before I arrive. The line went dead. Luna stared at him. Elijah Cross is a myth, street legend. He's been in hiding after he turned on the Russo family. But Elijah doesn't forget debts, and he owes me his life. The door buckled. They heard Valentina's voice, shrill with rage. Bring the charges. Blow it open. Giacomo pulled Luna close, his good arm around her shoulders. Whatever happens, don't, she interrupted. Don't do the goodbye speech. We survive this. We get to your children. We become the family they deserve. We? She kissed him, sudden, fierce, desperate. When she pulled back, her eyes were bright with unshed tears. I didn't come here to fall in love with you, Giacomo Galli. But your children needed someone. And somewhere along the way, so did I. The door shuddered as an explosion rocked the penthouse. The safe room's lights flickered. And somewhere in the chaos, Giacomo heard the most beautiful sound, return fire. Different weapons, different tactics. Elijah Cross had arrived early. The explosion faded into sharp, methodical gunfire. Luna and Giacomo pressed against reinforced walls, listening to battle rage beyond steel. The sounds were distinct. Valentina's soldiers firing in panic and something else. Single shots, precisely placed, devastatingly effective. Elijah Cross wasn't just shooting. He was executing. Luna's fingers found Giacomo's hand in dim emergency lighting. How many men does Cross usually work with? He doesn't. Elijah works alone. Her eyes widened. 1 man against 6? Against 60, it wouldn't matter. Elijah was the Russo family's enforcer for 15 years. He knows every tactic because he invented half of them. The gunfire intensified, then abruptly stopped. Silence descended, thick, suffocating, pregnant with violence. 3 knocks echoed. A pattern. 2 quick, 1 slow, 2 quick. The code Giacomo had given Elijah a decade ago. Luna raised her Glock. Could be a trap. It's not. Giacomo moved to the door panel. But stay ready. The locks disengaged with a hydraulic hiss. The door swung inward, revealing carnage. Bodies littered the study. Valentina's soldiers, each dropped with clinical precision. And standing in the center, wiping blood from a tactical knife, stood Elijah Cross. 6'3", built like a weapon, silver threading through dark hair, eyes that had witnessed too many sins to ever be called kind. A scar bisected his left eyebrow, gift from a Russo interrogation that failed to break him. "You look like hell," Elijah said, voice carrying traces of Louisiana. "Shoulder wound, leg graze, swaying like a drunk. Want to sit down before you fall down?" "Where's Valentina?" "Gone. Rabbit ran the moment she heard me coming. Left her men to die." Elijah's gaze shifted to Luna, assessing. "And you must be the ghost in Galley's machine." Luna Smith, formerly Chicago PD organized crime, presumed dead after the Maria Smith incident. Impressive resurrection. Luna's gun didn't waver. "How do you know who I am?" "Because I killed the men who killed your sister." Elijah's expression didn't change. Not out of mercy, out of business. They were sloppy, left witnesses, threatened to expose Russo operations. Salvatore ordered the cleanup. "I executed it. Your sister's murder was collateral damage in a larger war. Doesn't make it right, just makes it true." The words hit Luna like a blow. Giacomo saw her finger tighten on the trigger, watched war play across her face. Vengeance versus pragmatism. "Easy," Elijah said, raising empty hands. "You want to shoot me? I won't stop you, but your timeline just accelerated. The FBI received your evidence dump 4 minutes ago. Federal agents are mobilizing. This penthouse will be swarming with law enforcement in less than 15 minutes. Your boyfriend here has about a dozen outstanding warrants that just became active. So unless you want to explain all these bodies to badges, I suggest we evacuate. Now." Giacomo's mind raced through implications. Luna's evidence dump would destroy the Russo family, but collateral damage would splash onto every criminal organization they'd touched, including his. "My children are 3 blocks away in a silver Toyota, getting cold and scared." Elijah checked his watch. "I scouted before coming up. Smart woman, your maid, parked in a blind spot between camera coverage zones. But 2 unmarked vans circled that block in the last 5 minutes. Russo reinforcements looking for loose ends." Luna's face drained of color. "We need to move. Now." They ran, Giacomo supported between Luna and Elijah, wounded leg protesting every step. The penthouse hallway was chaos. Alarms blaring, sprinkler systems activated, water mixing with blood on marble. Elijah led them to the service elevator. As they descended, he handed Giacomo a burner phone. "Speed dial 1 is a doctor. Speed dial 2 is a safe house in Gary, Indiana. Not glamorous, but it's off every grid that matters. Speed dial 3 is me. Use it only if you're dying or arrested." "Where will you be?" Giacomo asked. "Finishing what you started." "Valentina's running scared, but scared doesn't mean stupid. She'll try to regroup. Someone needs to make sure she stays focused on survival instead of revenge." Elijah's smile was a blade. "I've been waiting 5 years for an excuse to destroy the Russos completely. You just gave me an early Christmas." The elevator opened onto the garage level. The smell hit immediately: cordite, blood, chemicals. Luna's earlier firefight had left evidence everywhere. They moved through shadows. Giacomo's vision tunneled, blood loss catching up. He stumbled, and Elijah caught him with surprising gentleness. "Stay with us, Galley. Your kids need you conscious." The Toyota came into view, dented, windshield fractured, but holding. And inside, pressed low in the back seat with a blanket over them, were 2 small shapes. "Matteo," Giacomo called out, voice cracking. "Aria, it's Papa." The blanket exploded upward. Matteo's face appeared, tear-streaked and terrified. When he saw his father, something broke loose in the boy's expression. Relief so profound it aged him and made him young simultaneously. "Papa." Aria's voice was a sob. "The men came, and Mama Luna fought them. And there was so much noise, and we thought... Giacomo collapsed into the back seat, gathering both children against his chest despite screaming pain. They clung with desperate strength, small bodies shaking with sobs they'd been holding back. "I'm here," he whispered into their hair. "I'm here, and I'm not leaving. Never again." Luna slid into the driver's seat, key already in ignition. Elijah crouched by the passenger window. "Gary Safe House. Address is programmed into GPS. Doctor will meet you there in 90 minutes. Ditch this car within 24 hours. It's burned." "Come with us," Giacomo said suddenly. "I've been alone for 5 years. I'm good at it." Elijah's eyes softened slightly, looking at the children. "Besides, someone needs to make sure Valentina's too busy running to hunt you. Consider it my wedding gift. You do still plan on marrying this woman who saved your life, right?" Luna's eyes met Elijah's in the rearview mirror. Something passed between them. Understanding or recognition of kindred damage. "Thank you," she said quietly. "Don't thank me. Just survive. Make those kids happy. That's payment enough." Elijah stepped back. "Oh, and Gally, your wife Isabella. She didn't die for nothing. The evidence she collected is part of what just burned down the Russo Empire. She won. Just took 2 years to see it through. Then he was gone, a ghost dissolving into darkness." Luna started the engine. The Toyota lurched forward, tires squealing as they spiraled up the exit ramp. Behind them, sirens already converged. Police, federal, emergency services drawn by explosions and gunfire. They hit street level as the first FBI van screeched to a halt at the entrance. Luna didn't slow, merging into late-night traffic with practiced ease. Within 3 blocks, they were just another anonymous car in a city full of secrets. Giacomo held his children, feeling their heartbeats against his chest. Matteo's breathing gradually slowed from panic to exhaustion. Aria's grip loosened, and she began the hiccuping aftermath of hard crying. "Is it over?" Matteo asked, voice muffled against Giacomo's shirt. "Is Miss Valentina gone?" "She's gone," Giacomo confirmed, praying it was true. "She can't hurt you anymore." "But what about the other bad people?" From the driver's seat, Luna spoke up. "They're all running now, scattered, fighting each other for scraps. That's what happens when empires fall. Everyone becomes too busy saving themselves to bother with revenge." The drive to Gary took 90 minutes through back roads and careful navigation around highway cameras. Giacomo drifted in and out of consciousness, held upright by his children's need for him to stay present. Every time his eyes closed, Matteo would whisper, "Papa, you still there?" And every time, Giacomo forced himself back. "Still here, figlio mio. Always." The Safe House was a converted church on the edge of Gary's industrial district, red brick facade, stained glass windows darkened from inside, surrounded by abandoned factories. Luna pulled into the rear courtyard and killed the engine. "This is our sanctuary?" Aria asked, uncertainty in her voice. "Sanctuary," Luna repeated, testing the word. "I like that." "Yes, sweetheart. This is where we stop running for a while." A figure emerged, late 50s, white beard, medical bag in hand. The doctor Elijah had promised. "You must be the galley party. Let's get that shoulder looked at before you bleed out on consecrated ground. Bad luck, that." They moved inside. The church's interior had been gutted and rebuilt. Medical supplies in what used to be the nave, living quarters in the former rectory, reinforced doors and security cameras hidden among religious iconography. The doctor worked on Giacomo's shoulder with efficient competence. Bullet went through clean. Lucky, another inch right, you'd be dead. He stitched, bandaged, administered antibiotics. "You need rest, fluids, and about 3 days of doing absolutely nothing. I'll be back tomorrow evening. Until then, stay put. Don't be a hero. Heroes get killed, and your kids have lost enough." After he left, Luna settled the children in the rectory's back bedroom. 2 small beds with clean sheets, night lights casting soft shadows, locks on the inside of the door so they could feel safe. "You'll be right outside?" Matteo asked, already half asleep. "Right outside," Luna confirmed. "And your father's here. And the doors are strong. and nobody knows where we are. Promise? I promise, baby. When she emerged, Giacomo was sitting on the church pew that served as the main room's couch. His face was pale, but his eyes were clear. They called you Mama Luna again, he observed. She sat beside him, maintaining careful distance. I know. I should probably correct them. Should you? Luna's hands twisted together. Giacomo, I need you to understand. I came to your home to destroy you. I was going to expose you to the FBI, let you rot in prison, take your children into protective services. But you didn't. Because they were already suffering. Because Valentina was a monster. Because... She stopped, struggling. Because somewhere between documenting crimes and singing lullabies, I stopped seeing targets and started seeing people. A father who worked himself to death trying to provide safety. Children who just wanted to be loved. A family I could actually help instead of destroy. Giacomo reached over, covering her twisted hands with his blood-stained one. You fell in love with them. With them, she agreed. And then, God help me, with you. Which is insane. You're a criminal. I'm former law enforcement. We're broken, Giacomo. Both of us. How do broken people build something whole? Carefully, painfully, one day at a time. He lifted her chin, making her meet his eyes. Luna, I don't care about your past. You saved my children when I was too blind to see they needed saving. You took bullets meant for us. You sacrificed your own vengeance to give us survival. If that's not love, I don't know what is. It's messy love. All real love is messy. Isabella taught me that. She loved me despite knowing exactly what I was. She tried to save me from myself, and it killed her. His voice roughened. I won't let that happen again. I won't let loving me destroy another woman. He stopped. Say it, Luna whispered. Another woman I love. The words hung between them, fragile and fierce. Luna kissed him, slower this time, less desperate, more real. When she pulled back, tears streaked her face. I don't know how to be a mother. I don't know how to be a wife to a man like you. I don't know how to build a normal life out of this chaos. Good. Because I don't know how to be a legitimate father or a man who doesn't solve problems with violence. We'll figure it out together. Giacomo smiled, exhausted and genuine. Besides, those kids already picked you. Matteo told me 2 months ago that he wished you were his real mother. 2 months ago? That was before I showed you any evidence. He sees what I was too stupid to see. You protected them, fed them when Valentina starved them, sang to them when she made them cry. You were their mother in every way that mattered, long before tonight. Luna laid her head on his good shoulder, careful of bandages. What happens now? The FBI will come looking. Your organization is compromised. Valentina's still out there. And we have 2 traumatized children who need stability. Now we disappear. New identities, new city, new life. Elijah will buy us time. Giacomo stroked her hair. I have money hidden in places no one knows. Enough to start over legitimately. Open a business. Give Matteo and Aria normal childhoods. Maybe even have a wedding in a church that isn't a safe house. You're proposing? I'm suggesting. There's a difference. From the bedroom, a small voice called out, Papa, Mama Luna, we can't sleep. They rose together, moving to the children's door. Inside, Matteo and Aria were tangled in blankets, eyes wide. Bad dreams? Luna asked. No dreams yet. Just scared to close our eyes. What if when we wake up, this is the dream? What if Miss Valentina is really still there, and you're not? Giacomo sat on Matteo's bed. Then we'll stay until you fall asleep, and when you wake up, we'll still be here. Every morning, every night. For as long as you need us. Promise? Aria whispered. Promise, Luna said, settling on Aria's bed. Want me to sing? Mama's song, Aria requested. The one about stars. Luna's voice rose. Soft, Italian. The lullaby Isabella had sung before she died. Giacomo didn't know how Luna knew it, but the words washed over them all like a blessing. Matteo's eyes drooped. Aria's breathing evened. As the children finally slipped into sleep, Giacomo and Luna's eyes met over their small bodies. In that look was everything. Grief for what they'd lost, terror of what still hunted them, and hope, fragile, stubborn hope, that maybe broken people could build something beautiful if they refused to give up. Outside, sirens still echoed in the Chicago distance. Valentina was still breathing somewhere, planning revenge. The FBI would keep digging, and morning would bring 1,000 new problems. But in a converted church in Gary, Indiana, a shattered family began, slowly, to heal. Dawn broke gray and cold over Gary. Giacomo woke to pain, shoulder throbbing, legs stiff, ribs protesting every breath. But underneath the agony was something unfamiliar: peace. His children slept safely in the next room. Luna dozed in the chair beside him, hand still holding his, gun resting in her lap. She'd kept watch all night, protecting them even in sleep. Her phone buzzed. She jerked awake instantly, weapon raised before her eyes fully opened. Combat reflexes. "It's Elijah," she said, answering on speaker. "Tell me you have good news." "Define good." Elijah's voice carried weariness. "The FBI raided 8 Russo properties at dawn. Salvatore's in custody. Half his crew flipped before breakfast. The Empire's bleeding out. That's the good part. And the bad? Valentina's gone ghost. Professional level. She didn't run home to Daddy. Knew he'd sacrifice her. Didn't flee the country either, which means she's still local, probably calling in personal favors." Giacomo took the phone. How many personal favors could she have? More than you'd think. Valentina spent 5 years building her own network separate from her father. Lovers, blackmail targets, people who owe her specifically. I've identified at least 3 kill teams she could activate. Mercenaries loyal to money, not family. Luna's grip tightened on her gun. "How long before they find us?" "This location? You're good for 48 hours, maybe 72. But you can't stay forever. Eventually you'll need supplies, medical attention. That's when you're vulnerable." From the bedroom, a child's scream shattered the conversation. Giacomo was moving before conscious thought, Luna half a step behind. They burst through the door to find Arya sitting upright, eyes wide but unseeing, trapped in a nightmare. Matteo was already beside her, whispering comfort with practiced ease. "Shh, Ari, it's just a dream. Miss Valentina isn't here. Papa and Mama Luna are right there. See?" Arya's eyes focused, finding her father. She launched herself at him, and Giacomo caught her despite pain. She was burning up, fever hot against his chest. "She's sick," Luna said, pressing a hand to Arya's forehead. "High fever. Could be stress, could be infection from the nights locked in cold rooms. From months of trauma manifesting physically." "I'll call the doctor back," Luna said. "No." The voice came from the doorway. They spun to find a woman standing there, 50-something, steel-gray hair, medical bag. She raised her hand slowly. "I'm not a threat. Dr. Sarah Chen. Elijah sent me. I handle traumatized children with stress-induced fevers." "How did you get in?" Giacomo demanded, positioning himself between the stranger and his children. "The back entrance, with the key Elijah provided. He called me 20 minutes ago after your daughter started crying in her sleep. Sound travels in old churches." Dr. Chen set her bag down, moving with deliberate calm. "I've worked with Elijah for 8 years. Before that, I ran a clinic in refugee camps. Syria, South Sudan, places where children see too much. I know trauma when I see it." Luna's gun remained raised. "Prove Elijah sent you." "Doctor." Chen pulled out her phone, showed a text. "Family in the sanctuary needs you, kids especially. The girl's breaking. E." After a tense moment, Luna nodded once. Some instinct said this woman was legitimate. Dr. Chen's examination was gentle and thorough. She checked Arya's temperature, lymph nodes, ears, throat. All the while, she talked in a low, soothing voice about her own daughter, about books Arya might like. 102 degrees, Dr. Chen finally announced. Combination of exhaustion, dehydration, and what we call a stress fever. Her body's been running on adrenaline so long it's finally crashing. She needs fluids, rest, and safety. The first 2 I can provide. The third, she looked at Giacomo. That's on you. She's safe here. Is she? Because her body doesn't believe it yet. Children metabolize trauma differently than adults. They hold it in their bones until they feel secure enough to release it. This fever? It's her system finally letting go because some part of her believes the danger passed. Dr. Chen prepared an IV drip. But if the danger hasn't passed, if you're still running, still hiding, her body will know, and it'll keep fighting. She'll stay sick. The words landed like accusations. Giacomo watched the needle slide into his daughter's small arm, watched her wince, but stay brave. How long? He asked quietly. Until she's physically better. 3-4 days with proper care. Until she's mentally better. Dr. Chen's expression softened with pity. Years, Mr. Galley. Children who've been abused, terrorized, they carry that forever. Therapy helps, stability helps, love helps. But the scars? Those don't fully heal. Matteo spoke up from his bed. I already have scars. In my head. I dream about Miss Valentina every night. Sometimes she's chasing us. Sometimes she's hurting Arya and I can't stop her. Sometimes... His voice dropped. Sometimes I dream she already won, and this, you and Mama Luna being nice, is the dream. And I'll wake up on the floor again with rice under my knees. The clinical description of torture from a 7-year-old's mouth broke something in the room. Dr. Chen's professional mask cracked. Luna made a choked sound. Giacomo felt tears burn his eyes. Matteo, Doctor. Chen said gently, would you like to talk to someone about these dreams? Someone who helps children feel safe again? Will it make them stop? Not immediately, but eventually, yes. The dreams get smaller, less scary, and you get stronger. She glanced at Giacomo, but only if the adults around you deal with their own trauma too. Children sense when their parents are still fighting. It makes them feel like the war isn't over. The war isn't over, Giacomo said bluntly. Valentina's still hunting us. Then end it. Dr. Chen's voice hardened. Not with more violence, with finality. Make her unable to hurt you. Legally, financially, socially, I don't care how. But until that threat is neutralized, these children won't heal. They'll just exist in suspended terror, waiting for the next attack. Luna's phone buzzed again. Another message from Elijah. Turn on the news. Channel 7. She found a tablet in the church's supplies, pulled up the local news stream. The anchor's face was grim as footage rolled. FBI agents leading a handcuffed Salvatore Russo from his estate, protesters outside the federal building, and then a photograph that made Luna's breath catch. Her sister, Maria Smith. Young, smiling, with a caption. New evidence in the 3-year-old Maria Smith murder suggests organized crime involvement. FBI sources confirm tonight's raids are connected to her death. The news anchor continued. In a shocking development, documents leaked to this station detail a vast criminal network run by the Russo family, including human trafficking, money laundering, and multiple contract killings. Among the victims, Maria Smith, 25, whose 2022 murder was initially classified as a random mugging. Sources now say Mrs. Smith was tortured and killed for refusing to provide information about her employer's financial dealings. Luna's face was stone, but her hands shook. They're finally saying her name. After 3 years of burying her story, they're saying her name. It's more than that, Dr. Chen said, pointing to the screen. They're building a narrative. Innocent victim, evil crime family, heroic FBI. Which means someone's controlling the story. Elijah, Giacomo said. He's turning Valentina into a pariah, making her too hot to hide, too notorious for anyone to risk protecting. As if summoned, Elijah called. You're watching. We're watching, Luna confirmed. Good, because in about 30 seconds, it gets better. His voice carried dark satisfaction. The news anchor's expression shifted to shock. We're receiving breaking news. Valentina Russo, daughter of Salvatore Russo, is now wanted for questioning in connection with the 2023 death of Isabella Galli, wife of businessman Giacomo Galli. Sources say new evidence suggests Mrs. Galli's car accident may have been vehicular homicide. A warrant has been issued for Miss Russo's arrest. The screen filled with Valentina's society photos dissolving into security footage. Valentina's car following Isabella's the night she died. Where did you get that footage? Giacomo demanded. Isabella gave it to me, Elijah said quietly. 3 days before she died. She came to me terrified, said if anything happened, I should hold on to evidence she'd compiled. I've been sitting on it for 2 years, waiting for the right moment. Tonight was that moment. You knew. Luna breathed. You knew Valentina killed her, and you never told Giacomo. Telling him would have started a war he wasn't ready to fight. Valentina had her father's full backing, the Russo Empire at its peak. Giacomo was a grieving mess who would have gotten himself killed. Elijah's voice hardened. I waited for the empire to crack, for Valentina to be isolated. Now she is. Now we can destroy her without burning down Chicago. Giacomo's mind reeled. Isabella had known she was in danger, had tried to protect herself, had trusted Elijah with the truth. What else did she tell you? That she loved you too much to watch you destroy yourself. That she was going to take down the Russos even if it cost her everything. And that if she didn't survive, she wanted you to know it wasn't your fault. You were a good man trapped in a bad life, and she never regretted loving you. Elijah's voice softened. She also said the children were the best thing you'd ever done, and to protect them no matter what. Tears streamed down Giacomo's face. Matteo and Aria watched their father cry, and something shifted in their expressions. Permission, perhaps, to show their own pain. She knew, Giacomo whispered. She knew, and she tried to save us anyway. That's what love does, Dr. Chen said quietly. It makes people brave and foolish in equal measure. On the screen, the news continued its assault. Federal prosecutors announcing charges. Financial analysts discussing frozen assets. Former business partners frantically distancing themselves. The empire was collapsing in real time. She can't survive this, Luna said. Every law enforcement agency will be hunting her. She's finished. Not finished. Cornered. Elijah's voice carried warning. Cornered animals are the most dangerous. She's got nothing left to lose, which means she'll take risks a rational person wouldn't. And her only remaining play? Revenge. If she's going down, she'll want to take you with her. Let her come, Giacomo said, rage burning through grief. That's exactly the wrong response, Dr. Chen interjected sharply. You have 2 traumatized children who need their father alive and present, not dead or arrested for murder. You want revenge? You've got it. Her life is ruined. Her father will rot in prison. Her reputation is destroyed. Everything she built is ashes. That's justice, Mr. Galli. Don't throw it away for the satisfaction of pulling a trigger. Matteo's small voice cut through. I don't want Papa to kill anyone, even Miss Valentina, because then he'd be like her, and I don't want my Papa to be a monster. The words hit Giacomo like a physical blow. His 7-year-old son, who'd been tortured and terrorized, was begging him not to become a murderer. Luna moved to stand beside him, her hand finding his. Your son's right. We end this the right way. We let the law handle Valentina. We disappear completely, build new lives, and let her destruction be enough. And if she finds us anyway, then we defend ourselves. But we don't hunt her. We don't become what we're running from. Luna's eyes held his. We break the cycle, Giacomo, for them, for us, for everyone who loved people the Russos destroyed. Elijah's voice came through the phone. I'll keep tracking her. When she surfaces, and she will, I'll make sure the authorities get there first. You focus on your family. Get those kids healthy. Become the man Isabella believed you could be. The call ended. Dr. Chen finished adjusting the IV. I'll stay today, monitor her fever. By tonight, she should be through the worst. But Mr. Galli, the physical healing is the easy part. The hard work, the therapy, the rebuilding of trust, learning how to be a family that doesn't run on fear, that takes time and commitment. Can you give them that? Giacomo looked at his children. Matteo, so brave and broken. Aria, burning with fever but still fighting. Then at Luna, this woman who'd saved them all. I can, he said. I will. Then we start now, today. Dr. Chen pulled out a card. This is a therapist who specializes in childhood trauma. She's discreet, works off books for people in your situation. Call her. Make an appointment. Show your children that healing matters more than hiding. As the day wore on, they settled into strange domesticity. Luna cooked pasta. Giacomo sat with Aria, reading stories while her fever slowly broke. Matteo drew pictures, at first dark and violent, then slowly incorporating light, color, hope. Dr. Chen observed it all. You're doing better than I expected, though. She looked at Luna. You're still wearing your gun, even while cooking, even while the children are calm. Why? Luna's hand moved unconsciously to the weapon at her hip. Force of habit, or fear that it's not really over. That Valentina will burst through that door any second. Dr. Chen's gaze was knowing. You can't protect them if you can't let your guard down. At some point you have to choose, live in constant defense or start actually living. They're not the same thing. How do I know when it's safe to choose the second option? You don't. That's the terrifying part. Safety is never guaranteed. But life lived in perpetual fear isn't really life. It's just slow death by anxiety. Luna looked at Giacomo, then at the children. Slowly, deliberately, she removed the gun from her hip and locked it in the church's safe. Her hand trembled, and she wrapped her arms around herself as if suddenly cold. Giacomo stood, crossed to her, and pulled her close with his good arm. We've got this. We've got each other. Do we? Luna's voice was barely a whisper. What are we, Giacomo? Survivors, fugitives, a family? I don't even know anymore. We're whatever we choose to be. Starting now. And in that converted church, surrounded by fractured light and fragile hope, they chose to begin again. Outside, somewhere in Chicago's shadows, Valentina Russo was making her own choices. Planning, plotting, preparing for one final strike. But for now, in this moment, the Galli family was safe. Healing. Together. 48 hours passed in sanctuary. Aria's fever broke on the second morning, leaving her weak but clear-eyed. Matteo began sleeping through the night. Luna stopped checking locks every 30 minutes, and Giacomo learned how to braid his daughter's hair and discovered that domesticity could be its own form of courage. Dr. Chen returned each evening. You're stabilizing, she said on the third night, but you can't stay here forever. This is a way station, not a destination. Where do we go? Luna asked. Every identity we have is compromised. Then you build new ones, real ones this time. Dr. Chen pulled out a manila envelope. Elijah asked me to give you this. He said it's your exit strategy. Inside, birth certificates, social security cards, driver's licenses, a complete family history for people who'd never existed. Thomas and Sarah Mitchell, married 6 years, 2 children, Michael and Emma, teachers from Portland, relocating to Madison, Wisconsin. Wisconsin? Giacomo studied the documents. The quality was flawless. Quiet, stable, good schools, the kind of place where people mind their own business. Dr. Chen pointed to additional papers. There's a house already purchased in Madison, small, 3 bedrooms, normal neighborhood. Teaching positions are waiting at a private school. Luna laughed, brittle. I'm supposed to be a teacher. I've spent 3 years learning how to kill people. You spent 3 months teaching 2 traumatized children how to feel safe again. That's better training than any education degree. Dr. Chen's expression softened. Besides, the school specializes in students with difficult backgrounds. Your real experience will matter more than fake credentials. Giacomo looked at the documents, seeing a future he'd never imagined. Thomas Mitchell, high school literature teacher, a man who wore sweaters instead of Armani suits. Can I really be this person? He asked quietly. Can you be anything else? Dr. Chen countered. Giacomo Galli is wanted by federal authorities. His bank accounts are seized, his properties confiscated, his organization dismantled. Thomas Mitchell is your only option for survival. And Valentina, she won't stop looking for Giacomo Galli. She's looking for a mafia boss with resources and power. She's not looking for a middle-aged teacher in Wisconsin who drives a Honda and coaches Little League. Dr. Chen stood to leave. Sometimes the best hiding place is plain sight. Be boring, Mr. Galli. Be so aggressively normal that no one looks twice. After she left, Giacomo showed the documents to Luna. They studied their new identities like actors preparing for the performance of their lives. Sarah Mitchell, Luna read. 10th grade English, loves hiking and pottery, married to Thomas at 26 in Portland. She looked up. This woman sounds nothing like me. That's the point. Giacomo found his own backstory. Thomas Mitchell grew up in suburban Seattle, played baseball in college. He's stable, boring, safe. He's a lie. He's survival. Giacomo set the papers down. Luna, I know this isn't what you imagined. If you want to walk away, if you want to disappear on your own, I won't stop you. Luna's eyes flashed. You think I want to leave? I think you deserve a choice. You saved us. You've earned your freedom. But staying means committing to this life, to these children, to me. That's not a small ask. No, it's not. Luna moved closer. It's terrifying. I don't know how to be Sarah Mitchell. I don't know how to teach teenagers or join book clubs or pretend I wasn't planning to destroy you 4 months ago. But Giacomo? She took his hand. I know how to love your children. I know how to watch your back. And I know I don't want to wake up in some anonymous city wondering if you're all okay without me. So yes, I'm choosing to stay. I'm choosing us. The kiss was different this time, not desperate or grief-stricken, but deliberate. A promise sealed in quiet. When they pulled apart, Matteo's voice came from the bedroom doorway. Are you getting married? Like real married? Giacomo's heart stuttered. How long have you been listening? Long enough. Matteo padded into the room. I heard Dr. Chen say we're moving to Wisconsin, and that we get new names. Will I still be Matteo? You'll be Michael Mitchell, your sister will be Emma. Giacomo pulled his son onto his lap. But inside, you'll always be my Matteo. Names are just what people call us. They don't change who we are. What if I forget who I really am? The question was heartbreaking in its wisdom. Luna knelt before the boy. Then we'll remember for you. Every night before bed, we'll tell you stories about your real mama, Isabella, about your real name, about where you came from. The truth will be our bedtime story, Matteo. You'll never forget. Promise? I promise. And I promise something else. In Wisconsin, you get to be a normal kid. You can play outside without guards, make friends, complain about homework and eat too much ice cream and be bored. You've earned boring, sweetheart. You've earned normal. Matteo considered this. Will Miss Valentina find us there? No, Giacomo said with more certainty than he felt. She's too busy running from the FBI. And even if she somehow tracked us down, she'd be looking for the wrong people. We're not the Galleys anymore. We're the Mitchells. Okay, Matteo yawned. Can we bring my books? Michael should like the same books as Matteo. We'll bring everything that matters, Luna promised. After settling Matteo back in bed, they returned to planning. Elijah had provided a detailed timeline. Depart Gary in 72 hours, circuitous route through 3 states, arrive in Madison as if traveling from Portland. The house would be furnished. The school expecting them. It's almost too perfect, Luna said. Like Elijah's been planning this for months. He probably has, that's how he works, contingencies built on contingencies. Giacomo studied the map. He's giving us what he never got, a clean escape. Giacomo's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. FBI raided your penthouse 3 hours ago. Found Marco's body, evidence of gunfight, but no trace of you or the kids. They're classifying you as missing, presumed dead or fled. Perfect cover. Also, Valentina surfaced in Detroit, tried to access a safety deposit box under false name. Cops were waiting. She escaped, but barely. She's getting sloppy, desperate, dangerous. Stay hidden. Luna read over his shoulder. Detroit, that's 8 hours from here. But she's moving away from us. Giacomo felt a knot loosen. She doesn't know about Gary, doesn't know about the church. She's chasing ghosts. For now. But desperation makes people unpredictable. What if she decides the best revenge is exposing your children's location? Then we move up the timeline. We leave tomorrow night instead of waiting. Aria's still weak. Aria will be weaker dead. Giacomo's voice hardened. Every hour we stay increases risk. Elijah said 48 hours was safe. We're past that. We leave tomorrow, drive through the night, arrive in Madison before anyone knows we existed. Luna nodded. I'll pack essentials. You should rest that shoulder. You'll be driving part of the route. We're really doing this. Becoming different people, abandoning everything we were. Not everything. Luna touched his face gently. We're keeping the parts that matter. The love, the loyalty, the determination to protect these children. Everything else? Let it burn. We don't need it anymore. That night, Giacomo couldn't sleep. He walked the church's perimeter, checking locks out of habit. In the main room, he found Luna doing the same from the opposite direction. They met in the middle and laughed, quiet, rueful laughter at their shared paranoia. We're a mess, Luna said. We're survivors. Giacomo pulled her close. And tomorrow we become something else. Something better. You really think we can do this? Teach school, attend parent-teacher conferences, be normal? I think we can try. He pulled back to meet her eyes. But Luna, I need you to know something. If Valentina does find us, if somehow everything goes wrong and we're cornered, I need you to take the children and run. Don't look back. Don't try to save me. Just run. Absolutely not. Listen. His grip tightened. You're their best chance. You're trained, smart, resourceful. I'm just a man who's good at violence. If it comes down to it, I can buy you time. But only if you promise you'll use that time to get them safe. Can you promise me that? Luna's eyes filled with tears. You're asking me to choose between you and them. I'm asking you to choose them. Always. The way Isabella would have. Giacomo kissed her forehead. That's what love is. Prioritizing the ones who need it most. And what you're feeling right now, this willingness to die for us, that's also love, Giacomo. They stood together in the dim church, two broken people trying to build something whole from shattered pieces. Morning came too quickly. Dr. Chen arrived for a final checkup, pronounced everyone fit for travel, and handed Luna an envelope. From Elijah. He said to open it when you reach Madison. As Dr. Chen left, the reality settled. This was it. The final transformation. After tonight, Giacomo Galli, Luna Smith, Matteo, and Aria would cease to exist. In their place, the Mitchell family, ordinary and unremarkable. They packed light, clothes, documents, treasured items. Matteo insisted on bringing his books. Aria packed a photo of Isabella that Luna had saved. Everything else was left behind like snakeskin shed in a forgotten church. As evening fell, they loaded into a nondescript SUV Elijah had provided. Giacomo took the first driving shift. Luna navigated. The children settled in the back seat with pillows and blankets. They pulled out of Gary as the sun set, heading northwest toward a future that existed only in paperwork and possibility. 20 minutes into the drive, Giacomo's phone rang one final time. Elijah. You're on the road. Good. Thanks to you. I don't know how to repay. You repay me by living well, by giving those kids the childhood they deserve. Elijah paused. One more thing. Valentina's not in Detroit anymore. She was spotted in a truck stop outside Milwaukee 3 hours ago. Luna's face went white. Milwaukee is 90 minutes from Madison. I know, she's tracking something. Maybe heard rumors, maybe got lucky. Could be coincidence. Could be disaster. Elijah's voice hardened. I'm already en route to intercept. But if I don't reach her in time, if she somehow figures out where you're going, you need to be ready to defend yourselves. One last time. Can you do that? Giacomo looked at his children in the rearview mirror, sleeping peacefully. Then at Luna, her hand resting on the weapon she'd retrieved. We can, he said. We will. Good. Because this ends tonight, Galli. One way or another. Either Valentina goes down, or you disappear so completely she'll spend the rest of her life chasing shadows. No middle ground. The call ended. Luna met Giacomo's eyes. We're not stopping, are we? Not even for gas. He pressed the accelerator and the SUV surged forward into darkness. We get to Madison. We get inside that house. We lock the doors and become the Mitchells. And if Valentina shows up? We end it, Luna finished. Together. In the back seat, Matteo stirred, murmuring in his sleep. Not a nightmare this time, just a child's dream, innocent and whole. And in that moment, driving through Illinois darkness with danger ahead and hope flickering like a candle in wind, Giacomo Galli made a choice. Not as a mafia boss, not as a criminal, but as a father. Whatever came next, whether peace or war, hiding or confrontation, he would face it, protecting the family he'd almost lost. Some battles were worth fighting, and some wars were worth ending, no matter the cost. The road stretched ahead, dark and uncertain. But for the first time in years, Giacomo wasn't running from his past. He was driving toward his future. And he wasn't alone. The Madison house materialized from darkness like a promise. Modest, two-story colonial, white siding, black shutters, a porch light glowing yellow against the 3 a.m. void. Giacomo killed the engine 2 blocks away, instinct screaming caution despite exhaustion. Something's wrong, Luna whispered, hand already on her weapon. Or everything's right, and we're too damaged to recognize safety. But Giacomo's eyes scanned the street anyway. Parked cars, dark windows, the ambient quiet of a sleeping suburb. In the back seat, Matteo stirred. Are we here? Is this home? Home. The word felt foreign. Home had been a Boston mansion filled with his wife's laughter, then a Chicago penthouse poisoned by Valentina's cruelty, then a Gary church that smelled of incense and hope. Could home be this ordinary house on this anonymous street? We're here, Luna confirmed. 343 Maple Drive. Thomas and Sarah Mitchell's fresh start. They approached on foot, Giacomo carrying sleeping Aria, while Luna guided Matteo. The houses around them radiated suburban normalcy, minivans, bicycles, the distant bark of a dog. No surveillance, no threats. Just life, ordinary and precious. The key fit perfectly. The door opened onto darkness that smelled of fresh paint and new carpet. Luna found the light switch. The interior was startlingly complete. Furniture arranged, kitchen stocked, photographs on the walls of a family that didn't exist. Thomas and Sarah at a wedding that never happened. Michael and Emma at ages they'd never been. It's like a museum exhibit, Luna breathed. The American family. Giacomo set Aria on the couch. Elijah doesn't do anything halfway. He's giving us a life so real we can inhabit it completely. Matteo wandered through rooms, touching furniture with tentative wonder. There's toys in my room, and books. The same books I had before, but new copies. His voice cracked. Someone remembered what I liked. Someone cares what happens to you, Luna said, kneeling beside him. Someone wants you to be happy here. Can we really be happy, after everything? The question hung in the air like smoke from a fire that wouldn't quite die. Before anyone could answer, Luna's phone vibrated. A text from Elijah. Made it to Milwaukee. Valentina's car found abandoned at a bus station. No sign of her. Either she's running scared or she's hunting smarter. Stay alert, and open the envelope I sent. Luna retrieved the envelope, slid it open. Inside, a single photograph and a handwritten note. The photograph showed Valentina, but not the polished socialite from before. This woman was haggard, hair matted, eyes wild with desperation. She was at a payphone, calling someone. The note read, "This was taken 6 hours ago in Milwaukee. She's looking for help, but everyone's abandoned her. Her father disowned her publicly this morning, called her a rogue element and no daughter of mine. She has no money, no allies, no options. Cornered animals bite. Be ready. But also know this, you've already won. She's destroyed. Everything she built is ashes. Whatever happens next, you took her empire and her dignity. That's more punishment than death. Choose wisely." Giacomo stared at the photograph, feeling a complex knot of emotions. Rage at what Valentina had done. Pity for the broken woman she'd become. And underneath it all, exhaustion. He was so tired of violence, of revenge, of the endless cycle. "She looks like a ghost," Luna observed quietly. "She is a ghost. Everything she was is gone." He tapped the photo. This is what's left when you build your life on cruelty. Eventually it collapses, and you collapse with it. Matteo appeared beside them, studying the image. Is that Miss Valentina? Giacomo tried to hide it, but the boy had already seen. Yes. She looked sad and scary. Matteo's hand found his father's. Is she coming here to hurt us again? I don't know, Figlio. Maybe. Maybe not. What do we do if she comes? It was Luna who answered, her voice steady. If she comes, we protect each other. We don't let fear win. And we remember that we're stronger together than she ever was alone. They spent the next hour securing the house, checking locks, identifying escape routes, positioning weapons strategically. Old habits, but also prudent preparation. The Mitchell family could be teachers and neighbors by day, but at night they were still survivors who knew the world's teeth. As dawn approached, Giacomo found Luna standing at the kitchen window, watching the street brighten. Having second thoughts? He asked. Always. But I'm staying anyway. She turned to face him. I've been thinking about what Elijah wrote, about how we've already won because we destroyed her life. Is that really victory? Or is it just revenge by another name? Does it matter? It matters to who we become. If we're just people who hurt others back, we're not that different from Valentina. We're just better at it. Giacomo considered this. What's the alternative? Forgive her? Forget what she did? No, never forget. But maybe... Luna struggled for words. Maybe we let the justice system finish what we started. We've given them everything they need. Evidence, testimony, witnesses. Let her face trial. Let her spend decades in prison knowing she lost everything. That's worse than a quick death, and it doesn't make us killers. I've already killed. Many times. As Giacomo Galli, but Thomas Mitchell? Luna took his hands. Thomas Mitchell is a teacher who helps kids learn about literature, who coaches soccer and attends PTA meetings, who tucks his children in at night and tells them they're safe. Can we let him be that person? Can we choose to stop being the people violence made us? The question pierced something deep in Giacomo's chest, a longing he'd buried beneath years of criminal pragmatism. Could he really change? Could a man who'd built an empire on blood become someone who built futures through education and patience? I want to try, he whispered. God help me. I want to try. They kissed in the breaking dawn, two people attempting to forge something new from old metal. The moment shattered with Aria's scream. They ran to her room, finding her sitting up in bed, eyes wide but not with nightmare, with confusion. There's a lady outside, she said, pointing to the window, standing by the tree, just standing there, watching our house. Giacomo's blood froze. He moved to the window, staying to the side to avoid being seen. And there, partially obscured by the oak tree in the front yard, stood a figure in a dark coat. Even from a distance, even with her face hidden by shadows, he knew. Valentina had found them. How? Luna breathed. How did she track us here? Doesn't matter. She's here. Giacomo's mind shifted into combat mode. Get the children into the basement safe room, now. I'm not leaving you alone. You're not. You're protecting them. That's more important. He pulled his weapon, checking the magazine with automatic precision. If I'm not down there in 10 minutes, you take the emergency exit Elijah showed us in the blueprints. There's a tunnel that leads to the neighbor's garage 2 houses over. Car keys are in the safe room. You drive. You don't look back. Giacomo, please. His voice broke. Please, Luna. I need to know they're safe. I need to know you'll save them if I can't. Luna's face twisted with anguish, but she nodded. She gathered the children, Matteo trying to be brave, Aria clinging to her, and disappeared toward the basement stairs. Giacomo watched them go, memorizing the sight. Then he turned back to the window. Valentina had moved closer. She stood at the edge of the property now, clearly visible in the growing light. She looked worse than her surveillance photo, gaunt, disheveled, but her eyes still held that calculating gleam. In her right hand, something metallic caught the dawn light. A gun. Small caliber, probably the Lady Smith. Of course she'd kept it. Giacomo opened the front door slowly, weapon raised but not aimed directly at her. Valentina. She flinched at his voice, then steadied. Giacomo. Or should I say, Thomas Mitchell. Nice identity. Very thorough. I almost didn't find you. How did you? Luck. Desperation. I was running through Wisconsin, trying to get to Canada, and I stopped for gas. The attendant was watching the news, your story, the FBI raid, all of it. And he said something. Bet that bastard's hiding somewhere boring. And I thought, where's the most boring place? Madison, Wisconsin. Perfect place for a criminal to disappear. She laughed, bitter and broken. I drove here on fumes and prayers, started checking addresses that recently sold to LLCs. Found this place 2 hours ago. Been watching. Waiting. Waiting for what? Courage, maybe. Or clarity. Or just the right moment to end this. She raised the gun properly now, aiming at his chest. You destroyed everything, Giacomo. My father disowned me. My family's empire is rubble. The life I spent years building. Gone. And for what? Because I was too harsh with your spoiled children. You murdered my wife. You tortured my children. You tried to poison me. Giacomo's voice was ice. That's not harshness. That's evil. Evil? Valentina spat the word. You think you're innocent? You've killed dozens, ruined hundreds of lives. Your hands are soaked in blood from Chicago to Boston. Don't stand there pretending you're better than me. I'm not better. I'm just done. Done with violence. Done with revenge. Done with becoming the thing my children should fear. He lowered his weapon deliberately. So if you're going to shoot me, Valentina, do it. But know that it won't change anything. My children are safe. Luna will raise them well. They'll heal and grow and forget you ever existed. Your last act of violence will be meaningless. Just another crime in a lifetime of crimes. Her hand trembled. You want to die. I want to live. But not at the cost of becoming a killer again. Not at the cost of teaching my son that the answer to pain is more pain. Giacomo set his gun on the porch beside him. So here's what I'm offering. Peace. Walk away, Valentina. Leave us alone. Disappear into whatever life you can salvage. Or pull that trigger and prove that you learned nothing from losing everything. For a long moment, neither moved. The suburban morning brightened around them, birds singing, sprinklers activating, the ordinary machinery of a safe life grinding forward. Then Valentina laughed. A sound scraped raw from her throat. Peace. You're offering me peace. After everything I've lost, everything you've taken, you think I want peace? I think you want what I want. An end. The question is what kind of end? One that adds to the body count, or one that lets us both stop being who we used to be? Valentina's gun wavered. Tears streaked her face. Rage or grief or exhaustion, impossible to tell. I hate you. God, I hate you for what you've done to me. I know. And I hate what you did to my family. But hatred doesn't heal wounds. It just makes them deeper. Giacomo took a step forward, hands empty and visible. Your father abandoned you. Your empire crumbled. You've lost everything that mattered to the person you used to be. But Valentina, you're still breathing. You can still choose who you become next. It doesn't have to be this. What else is there? I'm wanted by the FBI. Hunted by my father's enemies. Homeless and broke. What life exists for me now? Before Giacomo could answer, a vehicle pulled up. Unmarked sedan, government plates. Elijah Cross emerged from the driver's side, hands visible and non-threatening. Behind him, a woman in an FBI windbreaker. Valentina Russo, the agent called out. Lower your weapon. You're surrounded. This ends here, peacefully, or it ends badly. Your choice. Valentina's eyes darted between Giacomo, Elijah, and the federal agent. Trapped, cornered, her finger tightened on the trigger. Don't, Giacomo said quietly. Don't give them a reason. Don't make your last act be murdering a man in front of his children. You're better than that. I know you don't believe it, but somewhere under all the cruelty, there's a person who wanted more than violence. Let her live. Let her face justice instead of bullets. Justice. Valentina's voice broke. I'll rot in prison. Die alone and forgotten. Or you'll have time to become someone different, someone who regrets, someone who changes. It's not redemption, but it's better than death. Giacomo held her gaze. Please, Valentina, for both our sakes, lower the gun. The seconds stretched into infinity. Then slowly, agonizingly slowly, Valentina's arm lowered. The gun dropped from her fingers onto the grass. She collapsed to her knees, sobbing with the abandon of someone who'd finally stopped running. The FBI agent moved in quickly, cuffing Valentina with professional efficiency. As they led her to the sedan, she looked back at Giacomo one final time. I could have loved you, she said, voice hoarse. If I'd been different, if you'd been different. We could have had something real. Maybe in another life, Giacomo replied. But not this one. This life you were my enemy, and I was yours. That's the truth we both have to live with. They took her away. The sedan disappeared down Maple Drive, carrying Valentina toward a future of prison cells and federal trials and years of consequences. Elijah approached, eyes scanning for injuries. You took an insane risk, disarming yourself like that. I took a risk on being something better than what I was, and it worked. This time, what if she'd pulled the trigger? Then Luna would have raised my children, and I would have died trying to break the cycle of violence. There are worse ways to go. Giacomo looked at the house, seeing Luna and the children emerging cautiously from the basement. How did you find us so fast? I've been tracking Valentina since Milwaukee. When she headed toward Madison, I alerted the FBI. They were happy to make the arrest. Wanted fugitive, attempted assault, the whole package. She's going away for decades. Elijah's expression softened. You handled it well, better than I would have. Isabella would be proud. The name hit Giacomo in the chest. Would she? She wanted you to be a good man. Not a perfect man. Those don't exist. Just a good one who tries. Today, you tried. That's enough. As Elijah drove away, Giacomo turned to face his family. Luna stood on the porch, arms wrapped around both children, her face a mix of relief and residual fear. Is it over? Matteo asked, his voice small. It's over, Giacomo confirmed, climbing the porch steps. Valentina's going to prison. She can't hurt us anymore. No one can. Promise? Arya whispered. I promise. He gathered all three of them into his arms, ignoring the pain in his shoulder. From now on, we're just the Mitchells. A boring family in a boring town living a boring, beautiful life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. 6 months later, autumn painted Madison in gold and crimson. Thomas Mitchell stood in his classroom, teaching sophomore English students about The Great Gatsby, a story about reinvention, lost dreams, and the impossibility of escaping the past. What Fitzgerald understood, he told his students, is that we're all boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into what we used to be. But that doesn't mean we stop rowing. We keep moving forward, even when the current fights us. Because the effort, the trying, that's what makes us human. After class, he drove home to 343 Maple Drive, where Sarah Mitchell was grading papers at the kitchen table and complaining good-naturedly about a particularly stubborn student, where Michael was doing homework with serious concentration, and Emma was drawing pictures of their family, all four of them, smiling, together. That evening, after dinner and homework and bedtime stories, Thomas and Sarah sat on the porch, watching the neighborhood settle into sleep. Do you miss it? Sarah asked quietly. The power, the respect, the certainty of knowing who you were. Thomas, Giacomo, considered the question honestly. Sometimes. Then I remember that version of me cost Isabella her life and nearly destroyed our children. And I think this is better. This quiet. This normal. This is what Isabella died trying to give us. She'd be glad you finally figured it out. She'd be glad you were here to help me figure it out. He took Sarah's, Luna's, hand. I never properly asked, you know. Asked what? If you'd marry me, really marry me. Not as part of our cover story, but because I love you and can't imagine this life without you. Luna smiled, tears gathering in her eyes. You're asking now, after 6 months of playing house? I'm asking now because we're not playing anymore. This is real. You're real. We're real. He pulled a simple ring from his pocket. Not diamonds or ostentatious wealth, just a silver band engraved with a single word: together. So, Luna Smith, Sarah Mitchell, whatever name you want to claim, will you marry me? For real this time? She kissed him, and in that kiss was an answer that needed no words. Later, lying in bed in their modest home with their children sleeping safely down the hall, Giacomo reflected on the strange journey that had brought them here. From criminal empires to suburban normalcy, from violence to peace, from brokenness to healing, it wasn't perfect. Matteo still had nightmares sometimes. Arya flinched at raised voices. Luna couldn't fully let go of her hypervigilance, and Giacomo himself sometimes woke in cold sweats, remembering the weight of his past. But they were trying. Every day, they chose to try. And in a world that had tried so hard to break them, that was its own kind of victory. The locket that had once held Isabella's photo now contained three: Isabella, Giacomo, and Luna. Past, present, and future. A family stitched together from loss, sustained by love, and made whole by the simple act of refusing to give up. Some scars never faded, but in the right hands they became proof of survival. And survival, Giacomo had learned, was just another word for love, the stubborn, relentless daily choice to keep living despite everything that tried to kill you. Outside, Madison slept in peaceful ignorance of the family on Maple Drive. Inside, that family dreamed of futures where the past was a distant shadow, not a living threat, and for the first time in years, those dreams felt almost real, almost safe, almost like home. If you enjoy stories like this, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. That's how I'll know you truly liked it. Even if you're watching on your TV, grab a second to join this family of fans who love emotional and heartfelt stories. Your support means everything, and it helps us bring you even more tales like this one.